Perucetus. The heaviest animal ever discovered, probably. That second word is doing a lot of work right now. Found in Peru and described in 2023, this ancient whale from the Eocene epoch made headlines by threatening the blue whale's title as heaviest animal ever. Only around 20 meters long, but its bones were so extraordinarily dense that the original research team estimated its mass somewhere between 85 and 340 tons. Then 2024 arrived with a rebuttal. A separate team argued the original calculation hadn't accounted for the enormous fat reserves needed to keep bones that heavy anywhere near the surface. Their revised estimate? 60 to 110 tons, which would put Perucetus comfortably beneath the blue whale's 190 tons and nowhere near dethroning it. So the title is genuinely contested. Scientists are still running the numbers. What isn't contested is that Perucetus had the densest bones of any animal ever studied, almost certainly used as ballast, a biological submarine pressing itself toward the seafloor for reasons we can't fully explain yet. It was found 2 years ago. The argument about what it actually weighed is still ongoing.
But while Perucetus dominated with sheer size, the next creature turned ancient oceans into a hunting ground of pure terror.
Camaroceras, the tentacled reach, the Ordovician giant, the predator that defies vertebrate logic. While Dunkleosteus dominates through jaw mechanics, Camaroceras dominates through invertebrate advantages. Their bodies break vertebrate conventions. Shells 20 to 25 feet long, providing buoyancy and protection. Tentacles extending even farther. Beaks hidden at the center processing. Camaroceras doesn't move with agility. It drifts. The massive shell prevents rapid acceleration. Jet propulsion works, but doesn't generate speed. They position themselves in Ordovician oceans where early vertebrates are still primitive and slow. When prey enters range, tentacles deploy faster than recognition. Their kill method isn't crushing or slicing, it's restraint and processing. Tentacles immobilize, redirect victims toward the beak. Beaks crack shells and segment soft tissue methodically. Nothing with external protection survives contact. Nothing soft escapes grip strength. You can't fight what operates outside vertebrate patterns. You can't predict something evolution designed through different kingdom. They represent alternative solutions of cephalopod intelligence applied to apex predation. But slow movement has limitations. When faster vertebrates evolve, stationary hunters lose advantage. Shell weight becomes liability, not asset.
Yet even this giant sea predator couldn't hunt where the next animal ruled completely.
Titanoboa, a 42 feet snake. Let that settle. Not 48 inches, not 48 centimeters. 48 feet of snake, weighing over a ton, occupying the post-extinction jungles of what is now Colombia like it had personally inherited them. Titanoboa lived 60 million years ago, long before humans existed, and it did not rush. It didn't need to. When you are the largest predator in a recovering world, patience is just another weapon. But here's what the dramatic reconstructions tend to skip. Titanoboa was almost certainly a fish eater. Its teeth were specialized for slippery, wriggling prey, giant lungfish, prehistoric swimmers, not for ambushing large land animals. It spent most of its existence in and around water, calm and efficient, processing whatever the rivers offered. Less monster of the jungle, more the reason the river had a reputation. It vanished when the planet cooled, and its cold blood couldn't keep pace with a dropping thermostat. The snake didn't lose a fight. It lost its climate. As Earth's climate changed, a very different kind of killer emerged. One built not to squeeze, but to slash. Smilodon, after all the scale, the tonnage, the bone-crushing arithmetic of everything before it, the wizarding world of prehistoric predators leaves us with this. A cat, except not a cat. Smilodon was roughly the size of a modern lion, which sounds manageable until you see the canines. 11 inches, not for slashing, for precision. Smilodon targeted the throat with surgical accuracy, using its prey's own panic against it, holding, waiting, letting biology do the rest. It wasn't the biggest. It wasn't the fastest. A social predator, intelligent, coordinated, and operating in a world full of megafauna that dwarfed it.
And it thrived anyway, because raw power was never the point. The most dangerous predator in any era isn't the one that's biggest. It's the one that figured out it didn't need to be. Every predator on this list killed with size, speed, or ambush. Smilodon killed with understanding, and that never goes extinct. Millions of years earlier, another predator had already perfected a completely different hunting strategy.
Velociraptor. Thanks to movies, everyone thinks this thing was 2 meters tall and hunted in packs like wolves. Reality check. It was the size of a turkey. About half a meter tall at the hip, 2 meters long including the tail, weighing around 15 kilograms. But don't laugh. That sickle-shaped claw on each foot could slash through flesh like a box cutter. It didn't disembowel prey in one swipe like the films show, but it could pin down smaller animals and tear them apart. Fossil evidence shows it had feathers, making it look less like a scaly monster and more like a very angry murder chicken. It lived 75 million years ago in what's now Mongolia, hunting lizards, small mammals, and anything it could overpower. Some fossils show Velociraptor locked in combat with Protoceratops, frozen mid-fight for eternity. Talk about dying on the job. These dinosaurs weren't just monsters. They were evolution's greatest experiments, each one a solution to survival's harshest problems.
But not every prehistoric hunter stayed on the ground. The next creature took the hunt to the skies.
Nyctosaurus, late Cretaceous, Kansas. And it surrendered its hands to become something extraordinary. Most pterosaurs kept claws on their wings, useful for climbing, gripping, moving on land. Nyctosaurus lost them entirely. No claws, barely functional on the ground. What it gained was the most extreme flight specialization in the group. Wingspan is around 2 meters. And that crest. 2 long bony prongs extending from the skull, branching like antlers, reaching nearly the length of the entire body. Earlier reconstructions suggested a skin sail between those prongs, but current research largely dismisses it. A membrane that large would have created catastrophic aerodynamic drag and real structural risk in crosswinds. The prongs were almost certainly bare, likely keratin-covered, functioning as a stabilizer and possibly a display structure, built for open ocean soaring. Researchers believe it lived like an albatross, spending most of its existence airborne over deep water, rarely touching land except to breed. The crest helped maintain stability in sustained winds, a permanent trim tab above its own skull. It gave up everything that made ground life possible. In exchange, it got the sky permanently. No claws, no ground. Just an endless horizon and a crest pointed forward like it already knew where it was going.
While the skies belonged to giants like Nyctosaurus, life on the ground was evolving into something equally extraordinary. The Aurochs, the ox of your nightmares. Now imagine an ox. Multiply it by 3. Add bulging muscles, giant curved horns pointing forward, and an unfriendly face. There, you have an aurochs. This was the wild and colossal ancestor of all domestic cattle we see today. Males could reach 1.80 meters in height at the withers, the highest part of the back, and weigh more than 1,000 kilos. It was practically a tank with horns. The aurochs roamed throughout Europe, Asia, and North Africa. It was so imposing and respected that it appeared in cave paintings in the Lascaux caves in France, made more than 17,000 years ago. Our ancestors had as much fear as admiration for this giant. For millennia, it was hunted for sport and meat. With the advance of agriculture, its habitat was being destroyed. Slowly, the population decreased until only a small herd remained in Poland. The last Aurochs, a female, died in 1627 in the Jaktorów forest in Poland. And look, just like the quagga, scientists are trying to bring back the aurochs through the Taurus project, using backbreeding of primitive cattle breeds that still carry characteristics of the wild ancestor. Science is getting bolder and bolder, huh? But sheer size wasn't always the key to survival. The next animal proved that determination could be just as powerful. The Wolverine, 30 pounds of pure spite wrapped in fur.
Pound for pound, the most aggressive predator on this list, and possibly the angriest mammal in existence. Wolverines live in the coldest, harshest environments on Earth, and decided everything there was either food or competition. They'll take on wolves, bears, anything that gets between them and a meal. Zero fear, maximum audacity. Wolverines scavenge, hunt, and fight with a ferocity that makes other predators back off. They've been documented driving grizzlies away from kills, a 30-pound weasel bullying a bear. Indigenous Arctic people respected wolverines as trickster spirits, clever and dangerous. Fur traders hated them for raiding trap lines and destroying equipment. Modern science confirmed what everyone already knew: wolverines are relentless. So the wolverine became a metaphor for survival against odds, a tiny predator in a frozen wasteland that refuses to die, refuses to quit, refuses to care what you think. It's still out there, still furious, and honestly, that's kind of inspiring.
From giant whales to fearless wolverines, these incredible animals show just how extreme life on Earth once was. Which one surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments, and subscribe for more amazing extinct animals and prehistoric creatures.